Okay, hello. Okay, now you can hear me. Okay, so yeah, welcome to Python Zero to Hero. And I don't know why the screen is frozen. Okay, yeah, it's working again now. And yeah, sorry, it's a bit of a maniac, like hectic thing because we are having PyCon Africa at the moment. The workshop, well, PyCon Africa finished yesterday. It was amazing, but we still have the workshop today, which I am actually co-organizing, and there is yeah, there's a lot of things going on, and because it's very interesting that yeah, that okay. Yeah, so yeah, so basically there's a lot of things going on, and yeah, so people are coming in in the afternoon, but that's fun. Like we plan to, like, because in our mind it was like, oh, everybody come in the morning and we'll kick you off, but actually things doesn't work that way and we have to adopt. So yeah, so like there's still people having technical issues and all this stuff, we have to help them out, so it's a bit of hectic. So I was planning that, okay, maybe like everybody was settled in the morning, that I can do the streaming in the afternoon, but actually that's busier than I thought, but that's okay. That's totally fine. And today we're talking about Python packaging. And so yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, I'm still seeing the chat. That's great. Okay. So um, yeah, so this is what we have learned so far. I always like to keep this because I want to see yeah, to see like how many things we've learned so far, and that's how far we have been. This is great. And yeah, so we're adding something more here today. Like yeah, so we're learning more and more, and it'll be adding more. I don't know how I gotta fit everything into one page eventually, but we will try to figure it out. And I always think that's like a war of achievement. So that's great. Okay, so why do we do packaging? Like, why do we do that? First of all, like, what's the importance of it? Why are we have to dedicate a tutorial about it? So, well, because there are tasks. Well, let me have a sip first. Like, I forgot to refill my coffee. This is how busy we are. Okay, so yeah, there are things like in Python that's actually is specific for a task that we have to do all the time, but that's only specific for a task. So not everybody's using it. Only a portion of people are using them. But for those people who are using them, they are like kind of a recurrent thing. So it's happened like again and again. It's the same. So for example, if I'm doing something that my colleague will also be doing, I want to share my code with my colleague because, well, hey, like if you're doing the same thing, don't waste your time reinventing the wheel. Just use my code, okay? But it's only applied to me and my colleague because, for example, we are doing some, let's say we are doing some scientific calculation, okay? Because we are, let's say we're a researcher, so it's interesting for us to share the code, but not for everybody else. Like, for example, there will be someone who is using Django, is building a web app. Like, they don't care about this scientific programming thing because, well, I'm just building a web app. Like, I may be caring things about how to, have a web socket, or how to connect to the database so I can host my users' data, but not scientific programming. So because Python is so broad and so multi-purpose, so that's why that's also another reason why Python is so popular. That why everybody loves Python is that because Python is multi-purpose. It works for different things, and it works fine in all those things. And the reason why is Python can do that is that because we share the package, we share those. It's kind of like an extension to Python for that. And we do have the standard libraries. Remember when we have the when we was talking before that, like, we use Python just as is, and sometimes you want to, let's say you want to load something from the CSV, or you want to do some simple math calculations, or you want to use regex to check your strings, then those functionalities actually is in the Python standard library, so you can actually um, import them to use them, because those are the more common ones, like, because the scientific people may be like reading CSV, but same to like web developers, they may also want to read CSV at some point. So yeah, so you don't use it all the time, but it's like generally like, most people will find that useful, will be happy to have them. Um, So those are standard library, but standard library doesn't cover everything. Like I said, for scientists, maybe they want some more sophisticated um, algorithm to help them to deal with the math, or they want something to help them to do machine learning and things like that. So it's not included in standard library because not everybody is doing the same thing, but a lot of people are doing the same thing and they want to share it. So how to do that? So how to share this code? So there's a very smart way to do it is to package it, to pack it up into something that you could, so if someone want to add in, so it's just like a simple command or using something for simple that they could, grab this code that you have packaged before and just like plug it in. And if I don't need it, I can just like remove it. So it's very easy to plug in and remove things. So that's actually how pip work. Okay, so I hope all of you has already used pip before. If you have been so far into my tutorials, then you already have encountered pip. And so what pip actually do is that it would just go to this Python package index. So it's PyPI. You may have heard me mentioning this a few times already. So a PyPI is a place that is kind of like it's like a library. It kind of like holds all the books. The books are the Python package that you could install. You can download and install. Okay, so is there is there's only one of that like Python package index. So it's the Python package index. So that's the official one by an organization that I'm gonna introduce afterwards. But you can actually have your own index. You can have a copy of that for yourself. So that's a very advanced topic. Actually, in PyCon Africa, someone gave a talk about putting that in a Raspberry Pi. So you can pip install from a Raspberry Pi, so you can carry it around instead of relying on the internet to go to the PyPI on the internet to install it. Or some company may found it actually they want to have full control of what people can install because you can see the warning down there that PyPI actually there's some security problems with PyPI. It so far is like has been like lots of the maintainers doing the best to make it safe, but still it's still like relatively vulnerable compared to other stuff that you use. That's the problem with open source because everybody can do anything, so that may be some risk in there. Um, so yeah, so well, what we gotta do is like we have a central library, which is like everybody can be an author and make a package, make a library, and put that into the library for everybody to borrow, to download, to use. Okay, so that's the PyPI. And well, like I said, there are security issues. That's because everybody can't upload things for PyPI. So you just don't random pip install things on PyPI. Make sure that you know what you're installing. For example, if you're installing pandas, make sure that you know what panda is. Like usually on PyPI, it will people will link it to the source repository, so you can have a look at the GitHub repo, check if this person is legit, whether people like or have started a project before, or is it well maintained. You can tell a lot of things about this project by looking at the GitHub. Okay, so then you kind of you feel that I know this, pandas, I've Googled it online, I see everybody's using pandas, it's a legit library. And the other thing I would recommend is to always go to their documentation, like for example pandas documentation, and click on their install page, and there will be a command like pip install or something. Just copy and paste that command, because that's more reliable than from memory. Because if you spell the library wrong, you may actually accidentally install something else that may be a malware that someone deliberately tried to mimic pandas. It's just maybe a slight difference in the spellings, and then trick people to downloading the malware instead of pandas. Okay, so for a library that I'm not familiar with, I'll always check their documentation page, because I get to the documentation by Google, so it's relatively safe. And then I would check the pip install command and then copy and paste that instead of just from memory and pip install something, because pip install itself is a risky thing. You may accidentally install something that you don't want to install. Like I said, the maintainers try to keep everything safe on PyPI. That there will be like checks, and if people report stuff, they will immediately investigate and take things down. Okay, I have friends that actually are doing that. They're dealing with security of Python, and they actually like regularly take down projects that actually the package on PyPI that is actually have a security issues that people reported that it may be a harmful software. So that's actually regularly happening. So that's why I always tell people to be careful. But also at the same time, you don't have to worry too much because usually someone already is working very hard to take care of it. But you may be unlucky that you accidentally download something and then you're the person who reported it, but you already got the damage. Just be a little bit safer. So like I said, some company they want to be absolutely safe. If you work for a company that security is very important, for example, you are dealing with sensitive data. Of course, you don't want just the things on your computer to be stolen. So what they would do is that they would make a copy of this PyPI, and actually they would audit all these libraries. For example, they would ask everybody, let's say you work in the data science team, and ask everybody, okay, what are you using for work? What do you need? And then they would basically check all of them and then have a library, their own version that is checked by someone else. That person is taking the responsibility and saying like, these are safe. So if you download from our index instead of the PyPI, so it should work for your code, but it's we have checked that it's safe. Okay, so that's how some company get around to do it. Okay, or you use Anaconda because Conda is kind of like similar. They distribute this package themselves. They have put a seal on it saying that, Conda have checked all the things that you download from Anaconda that is safe. So if so they are putting their company names on the on the responsibility there. So that's why for free version, well, you have to just trust Anaconda, but for a paid version, of course, like if you have a deal with them, if you sign a contract, of course they have to make sure that things went well. Okay. So so what's this organization behind the PyPI index? So there's this Python Packaging Authority, so PyPA we call. So they're actually a group of like working really hard for a lot of things that we use every day, and we didn't realize that. Okay, so well, they of course they provided this PyPI things that we all know and love. And also this project actually is named Warehouse Project in their repositories. So if you want to contribute to the PyPI itself, you contribute to the warehouse repo, warehouse project. Okay, I have had a look at that in the sprint before. I think it's last year in EuroPython, but I'm not that familiar with web, so I'm not helping out a lot. But actually I know a little bit about it, so thanks for that. So go to a sprint, you will learn a lot. And also they provided all these tools that we used. So pip, we have used it like all the time. Setup tools, we will talk about that today. It's used for packaging. Twine and Wheel as well. These are projects that help you to publish your package. So we will go over them later. And we have the pipenv and virtualenv. So I think I've talked about them a little bit somehow. I think maybe at the installation tutorial or something. Actually, I've gave a talk in PyCon Africa about like how to manage your environment, Python environment in your machine. So some way of doing it is to using pipenv or virtualenv. And I won't give the talk again here to introduce them to you, but in the future maybe I'll make the talk publicly available. I would just redo it. I don't know about like whether PyCon Africa will make it public, but I can redo the talk and make it publicly available. But it will take a while because I want because I've done that in a conference. I want them to have it for themselves for a while before I make it public in other means. So yeah. So the workflow here, how to upload your library, is actually a two-step process. First, you have to build your code, build a wheel. So basically, this is the wrapping process. It's like, for example, like sending a parcel, right? So you have to first put in a box, wrap it, and write down the address on the box, like where you're gonna send it or who is it sending from, or maybe sometimes you have to do custom thing, like write down what is inside and how much it costs. Do you have to pay tax, or the custom need to know about something. So yeah, sometimes you have to wrap it. So this is like wrapping a parcel, like building the wheel. And also we do label the package. I will talk about that in the next slide. That like actually next slide, that like you actually do have some labeling of what is in this package. So yeah, it's like sending a parcel. It's surprisingly similar. So the tool that we're using is actually this BDist wheel. So this is what the wheel project provided. So this is a library. So it's another package, but it comes with Python. I think it's from Python 2, I forgot, Python 2.5 or 2.3, that is included when you install Python. So the chances are, if you're using Python 3, you have this already. You don't have to find it and install it. You can still do it. It's kind of like you can install it, like you can somehow install pip, but of course usually you already have pip and use pip to install something else. So yeah, so don't worry too much. You should already have it. And the step 2 is to send the parcel, so upload it to PyPI. So well, that's where Twine is useful here. And so basically it's just like you go to the post office and drop the box, and it will be magically sent there, and people can, well, in this case, people have to download it. And actually you can test it yourself to see if you can download it. Okay, so yeah, it sounds very, very simple. Why are we like having tutorials? Like, it doesn't sound difficult. Well, things could get fancy actually, if you want to. So it's like, no, 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 I don't want simple. I want to be fancy. And actually, you can do a lot of fancy stuff to package your library. In all the conference that I've been to, there are lots of discussion about packaging. One issues that always come up is that people want it to be more secure. So for other software other than Python, for other even open source software, you can have a the author, the developer, they sign the package. So kind of put the name on it, saying like I'm responsible. It's not something nasty. Okay. But we don't have that with PyPI at the moment. There are debate and discussion about how they're gonna do it. So the things I gotta talk about today may change very, very soon. So well, things are always changing anyway. So it's good to learn it first when it's still simple. Um, and other thing that people could do to make it fancy is to automate the deployment process. I Yeah, like today I will show you the library that I maintain at work that we actually deploy using Travis. You can actually integrate the deployment in your CI/CD pipeline, so that's very helpful and make things very easy. But I would also do the menu thing first, and then we would have a look at the automatic process. And also licensing and all this stuff also is a very deep topic if you want to look into it. I won't say that I'm an expert. I'm just like usually I would just go for license. I would just go with MIT. But you know, my colleague they would be like, oh no no no, because that yeah, if they are really into it, they could tell the difference of like no, there's advantage of doing, let's say, a GPU, a GUP. Oh my god, I suddenly like forgot like NPL, like GUN GUNPL. Can someone help me in the chat? Yeah, that license, or using Apache. So that there are like different the different license that that slight difference in it. Some of them saying like, oh, in the future you can't use it in a commercial software. Some of them saying like, oh yeah, you can use it, but you have to, and the open source property of this software need to pass on or something like this. Many different. So yeah, like sometimes picking a license is a challenge as well. So yeah, things could get fancy if you really look into it. But I'm just covering the basic today, okay? So right. So this is like there's a simple case. So this is a tutorial. Actually, I have the link of this tutorial here that I found. This is the official tutorial in PyPA, and I can make it a little bit bigger. We're gonna use it later, but I'm gonna cover the basic in my slides first. So let me have a sip, rehydrate. Mm. So first, well, the structure of your of your repo usually are like this. Okay, so you have a your repo. It doesn't need to name packaging tutorial. It could be something else, but usually you have a license and a README in it. Okay, so those two things actually, you have already encountered them if you have used GitHub and created a project on GitHub before. So when you create a project on GitHub, usually you could just choose a license and then start with a README, and GitHub could create that for you. Okay, but if not, you could just create a new file and start typing. For license, like I said, if you really care, you can read the difference between the license and pick one that you like, that you want your software to be. It's usually like, yeah, it depends on whether like who you're happy to share your project with, whether you want to share it with a company who is making commercial product with your work, or you don't want them to do it, or is it like, yeah, so it's just like have a look and pick. So it's like it depends on what you want your software to be used. Okay. And then you can actually download the license online. GitHub got a lot of example there. You can download easily. And README, you just have to start writing it. Usually README would consist of how people could use this library, and then maybe some link to the documentation, or maybe link of papers that could back you up if your library is a byproduct of some research. Or yeah, you can put like how people can contribute, or how people can set up the dev environment, how people can install it. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can put in the README. So make sure you created that. So, and for the test, actually, we have covered that in our testing month. So I hope you are kind of fairly familiar with testing already. So if you're not, go back and check the test tutorials, how to set up PyTest or write unit test in there. So usually you just put all the tests in there. Yeah, so that's it. And so yeah, the setup.py is the thing that we gotta talk a little bit like in the next slide. Setup.py is actually, like I said, it's like when you send the parcels, the label that you put on the parcels, right? It could it could be the barcode where you're sending it for, and who is sending it, and what is inside, all this stuff that people need to know about when they get this parcel and open it. Okay, so this is an example of a setup.py. So so you can see that we have import setup tool here, because so this script is actually telling setup tools to do things. Okay, so this setup would actually tell when let's say if you build a wheel, so it will look at this setup method in setup tools. So this will actually generate a thing that the wheel would understand. Okay, it's basically like, imagine this setup tools.setup is your label. So you have to stick your label on your parcel first, right? And then you can write all this information on it. So yeah, so this is the sticker. So this is setup tool sticker that you get, or setup tool forms, like a custom form that you get, to put in setup. So this what this is doing is just reading the README file and put that in the long description here. So this is what it's doing, because you can see that if you browse on PyPI, you see that people will have like a page of telling what this library is about. All these actually they are the same as the README. So it's like cover of your book, or the content page of your book, that people can read on PyPI and also read on GitHub. So usually people want them to be synchronized. So that's why you can just use this little trick here. This tutorial teaches us to read, get the README from it and then put it in the long description, so that the README on your GitHub would be the same, front, shop front for your library. Okay. So in this setup tool, so this is the basic setup name. You put in the name of your library, and I think you can't use spaces. You have to use hyphen, and yeah, I don't know whether you can capitalize it, or maybe it's just like it would just treat it as lowercase because it's case insensitive. And also pick a name that nobody used it before. well, all the libraries on PyPI has unique names, so you can't have another name. So make sure you pick a name that nobody used it before. You don't have to put your username here. So this is just like an example, a tutorial. So this is just to let, because I guess the author of this tutorial was thinking that a lot of people would go through all the steps, and so to mess with the names, people using the same name, that is example package. So ask people to put the username there so it doesn't clashes with the name. So because otherwise the first person who did this tutorial can upload it to the next person who can't, okay, because they're using the same package name. So and then the version is also very important. Another thing to note that is that the version can only go up. So for example, I have uploaded version 0.0.1. I can't publish another 0.0.1 on PyPI. That's the thing that like annoys a lot of beginners, and they'll be like, oh my god, how can I like delete it and do it again because I don't like it, I want to retry. I'm sorry, you have to go up to 0.0.2. So oh my god, it will be there forever. Oh yes. So that's the thing, like there are always like patches, and version, we always going forward with the development, we'll have minor versions increase or major versions increase, and there are also patches. So you see that the version is actually a 3-part number. So the last digit of it, so 1 here, actually it means the patch of your library. So if you made a mistake, if you publish a bug, it's like, oh my god, I have a bug. So what you gotta do is that you just gotta fix the bug and publish a 0.0.2. So it's fine, 0.0.1 got a bug. It happens all the time. It happens even for like commercial projects. But you release a patch. So this is actually why we do that. Why I can't just like delete my 0.0.1 and republish my 0.0.1. Actually, PyPI, I think PyPI doesn't allow you to do that. Or if you do that, it will really create a big mess, and it's not recommended to do not recommended to do that. Reason being, we want the software development to be transparent. We want it to be like open for people who knows that what's going on, and that's why we released the new patch. So for people who are using the old one, who maybe they don't download the new one on the internet or things that like that, then so instead of secretly changing your open one, so for people who hasn't uploaded, it will be like, what's going on? Why yours work and mine doesn't work? Well, because I have secretly changed it, right? So there's no way of telling whether it's the old version, the bug version of open1, or is the new that I've secretly changed, that is the patched version of open1. So that's no good. We don't want that to happen. That's confusion in communication. So rather, we would have the user who have downloaded before to have a bug version of open1 that is stay open1 forever. So open1 will always be bugged. And open2 is the one that has been patched. So when people encounter the bug and it's like, oh my god, why that this thing doesn't work, they can go online and check your release note, or someone already maybe post in a forum or in your GitHub repo saying like, oh yeah, there's a bug found on open1 and now it's patched on open2. So that person know that, oh, I'm using a bug version and I should really update mine. So that's why it's good to always, if something is released, it's already out there. It's like, water that you have spilled or spilled milk. It's no way to return it back because people have downloaded and it needs to be consistent all over. Okay, so it needs to be a version up. So but that's fine. Just you would get used to it, and you would see that actually everybody make a mistake. Even I can tell you this little like funny thing about Python libraries, that there is a very popular Python library, which is actually virtual env. So during one of the release, and then they have made a typo in the release, and it just breaks everybody's build, including mine, because at that time I was always also releasing mine as well, and it doesn't work because the virtual env is broken, and everybody just go to their GitHub and saying like, oh yeah, like there's a typo there, and could the maintainer please patch it, like all of the stuff is broken and stuff, things like that. And yeah, like even virtual env, a project that is so popular, that is so well known, still got this silly little mistake that they have to patch it. So don't feel bad if you have published something that is buggy, or oh my god, like there's a typo and it's very embarrassing. Um, you have to live with it, and the community usually are very tolerate, and we know that this happened because it happens to everybody. It's not just you, it's everybody, like you and me, and even people who are very experienced would make the same mistake. And just patch it as soon as you can, write in the release notes, tell people, okay, sorry, I messed up and I have fixed it, so don't worry. um, yeah, so this is how it works in software development. And yeah, like in that virtual env thing, actually after they have quickly patched it, and everybody is just happy. There's no rampage or anything. It's just funny, inconvenient, and people even joke about it. And so yeah, don't worry if you found a bug. Just patch it and release a new one, a new patch, and increase the patch number by one. So you gotta be open two, or whatever that you increase it by one. And so the middle digit is the minor. So it's like when you do quite a few of improvement to your library, so you can have a minor released. And the first digit is you rarely increase it because it needs to be a big improvement or a big rewrite. You rewrite all your code that actually it doesn't work with the old code anymore. So then you can release a major release. Okay. So yeah. Author. So you can put your name there if you want your name to be published and labeled as this is your thing. Yeah. So or you can put your, yeah. I would encourage people to put their name there to get credit. It's good if you publish something on PyPI and actually it become useful to people. Even though like it doesn't need to be very popular, but like even if it gets slightly popular, then if you put your real name there, then your future potential employers may found it, and you get credit for it. Um, if something that is jokey, maybe you want to hide your identity a little bit. Maybe you want to put your GitHub name or whatever there. But I encourage people to put their real name there if you publish something that you are proud of. Okay. You never know, it will get popular, even though it's a small library that. The email, well, it's up to you whether you want to put an email there, because I know people are, very aware of privacy and don't want people to spam the email. I think it's always good to have separate emails. So maybe an email just for, work stuff that people email you only for tech thing. Then you can separate that with your private life. Um, and a short description. So it's just a short description of describing what library you have here. So this need to be short, maybe 1 line or 2 line max, or even just 1 line like a title. Um, Long description, like I said, I think it's a good idea to sync it up with your the one that you has with your GitHub README. So yeah, so this is how you do it. You open the file and then read it and put it in as a Python variable because this is Python script. And all you need is to just have this property saying like the content type is text markdown, because the README you're written it in a markdown format, and then so it will render correctly. Okay, when you look at it on PyPI. Yeah, so this is the URL. So this is the URL of your source code. So this is where people can have a look at your source code and to decide whether they want to trust or they like your project before they download it. So that's quite important. Put them to the GitHub, or if you put your project in GitLab, you can also point them to GitLab. Okay, or if you have a project website, if it's more down the line that you become a bigger project and you have your own website, you can also put your project website. Or maybe if you have the documentation, you have the read the doc page, and you think that people will find the read the doc page more useful in understanding your library, then you can also point them to the read the doc page. Okay, here. So and packages. So this is I think this is you don't have to customize it. I think it's just yeah, standard thing that is set up tools to find packages. And so there are some options here down there that's basically saying yeah, it's just some settings for your package. For example, what do you want to classify? So this is actually, I should actually point out PyPI. Okay, so oh, this is mine. So yeah, so this is this thing here. That yeah, this is the thing. This thing here. We didn't put too much here, but you can actually label it as like it works with Python 3. Uh, you know, well, operating system dependence because the terminus DB itself is operation system dependent. And yeah, this is the license, the GNU GPL v3. Oh my god, so many. Like, yeah. So this is the license that we have. So this is the old one. The new one, we actually use another license. So let me go to the new one here. DB client. So I have two, so we have two because we decided to start it all over again. So yeah, so this one also you can see that it requires Python 3. Greater than 3.6. And yeah, we have changed the license to Apache. Apache, yeah, Apache is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, but you can put more labels in it. Like if you go to another library that actually is there for longer request, let's say, yeah. So request actually has a lot of these. So yeah, it requires all these different versions of Python. It works with all this Python. And so yeah, this is like a tag that people can find your find your package with. Oh, but the but the long description is not rendering quite well. It's HTML. I think yeah, the setting may be a little bit messed up. And yeah, so yeah, actually maybe I could go to request and send a pull request there to help them out because this is not rendering correctly. This is an HTML but a little bit weird. Yeah, I may do that later. After this, it'll be fun. Um, so yeah, this is how you like do all these settings and make your library available. So I think what we can do is that we can look at the real example here. And then after that, what we gotta do is that we gotta see if we can manually, because like I said, I have set up a Traverse pipeline. So yeah, so I never manually upload it. So, but we can try to see if we can upload it. But I would upload it to test PyPI. So it's not the real PyPI because I'm not planning to release a new one today. So I'm gonna to upload the current one, the current one to test. So it's gonna be on test PyPI instead. Yeah, so test PyPI actually is a place that you can test before you put in the real PyPI. So like I said, because once you put it there, it's like a spilled milk. It's no turning back. The only way to change it is to release a patch. So sometimes, like for example, if you do it like the first few times, you want to do it on the test PyPI first to make sure you like it before you do the real deal. Okay, so let's go to the coding page here. Oops. Uh-oh. Why is it like this? Yeah. Yeah. Atom is being weird. Okay. So this is what we have. Let's have a look. So yeah, this is more complicated than the example that we showed before. So this is the real deal, right? So you see that we have we import the path because we gotta use them later. Maybe not. I forgot where I use it, but anyway. And oh yeah, so maybe here. Yeah, when I read the README file, it's more setting. Make sure the encoding is correct. So because we want it to be pretty, not the one that was rendered wrong. And yeah, and also to make sure the directories, like all the paths are correct, so we're reading the right file at the right place. So yeah, it requires, so you can actually put down the dependencies in here. So this is important actually because like our library, the bare bone of it require a request because we are using that for the API client. So yeah, so you have to put the requirement here actually. So you can see we have more things here. So so we actually where was yeah. So install requires. So this is actually, let me make it bigger. So this is actually put all the dependency here. That's when people install your library. And then hi, line 5, use pathlib. Yes, well spotted. Very good eyes there. Yes, yeah. So it's using path here. Yes, yep. So yeah, so this requires here means that when people pip install your library, then it will also find, like, check whether that person who is installing has this library. that is request here. Yes, to check whether that person has that library. If they don't have, then they would then pip will also install this for them. So put all the dependencies in here. Well, yeah, we're calling it from here, but put all of them here as a list. Okay. Yeah, so we are only using request for the backbone of it. We also use the data frame, so that's extra requires. So we will people has an option to put the square bracket data frame in the pip install, and then with that, actually there's two more requirements. That's NumPy and pandas. So if people install it that way, then they would have the NumPy and pandas as well. And yeah, what else is different? Well, the name and the version that we already seen them, the description and long description, we are also reading it from the README, and package data. So we have the license there, URL is the GitHub page, and plan package. Oh, so yeah, this is this is actually, I think, is telling what is included in the package. So we are like saying that, hey, like test is not included in the package. No, this is only for developers. Yeah, so there are also like these tiny little details, like include package state, yes or no, and these are the text that we talk about. And setup requires a PyTest runners. I'm not so sure. I think my colleague set this up, but yeah, well, yeah, because like I care about like is this extra requires and the install requires, but I think yeah, it's also a good idea to put down like what test you used here. But usually I put it as a requirement.text like because people will be downloading the source code. So yeah, so I don't care about this too that much, but yeah, because I usually put it elsewhere. Yeah, so this is our setup of Pi, and let's try to do the tutorial. So let's see how we're gonna do it. So let's see if I can bring up the terminal here. Okay, I have the terminal here, but I'm not so sure whether that's the terminal. Okay, so this is the one. Is it too small or something? So let's see if I can, or maybe I can make it bigger or something. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So we are here, in the project. So we have the setup.py here. Okay. So let's do something. So let's go to the tutorial and oops, I should actually give you the link. Yeah, so this is the tutorial here, and let's see. Right, so first of all, we gotta set up the wheel like I said before. So we gotta do this. So you can actually upgrade the setup tool and wheel to make sure that it is the most updated version. Because if it's not updated, then well, it's not that good. So what am I gonna do now is to actually I will go to my development environment, make sure that it's using Python 3. Okay, so then I want to upgrade setup tools and will. So let me do that now. Okay. Yep. I haven't updated for a while. You can see that like my pip version is super old as well, so that's why it's good to update all the time. Actually, I should actually update pip as well. So I think yeah, it's a good idea. So let's do this as well. Yeah, just clean all this up. Okay. So now I gotta build the oops. Oh, you're not seeing the thing. Sorry. Yeah. So you can see I'm just like updating all my setup tool wheels and pip. And right. So what I'm gonna do now is to do a building the wheel. According to the setup.py. Please build a wheel for me. And oh, invalid command. Oops. What's going on? Maybe the tutorial is a bit outdated. Yeah, it doesn't like it. That's strange. Yeah, like I said, I usually don't do it this way. I usually do the use Travis, so that's why this is not what I used to do. And this is a bit weird. Let me see. Set up the pie command. Let me have a look. Where's set up the pie is located? I am in there. So yeah. Let me have. Maybe I would see a set up pie. I do have Python. Python 3 set up the pie. Why? Uh, hmm. Cause yeah, cause uh, yeah, it doesn't even like say that there's this CMD here, so this is totally not recognizing the right thing. Okay, so can I do it like this? No, that's super weird. Let me Google the things that is going wrong here. Hmm, uh, right, yeah, still pointing me to the same place, and see if there's a. Yeah, this is frustrating, and yeah, sorry. Give me a few secs to let me Google what's going on and why I can't use it like that. Yeah, because I haven't do it manually for a long time, so it may be outdated. Hmm. Yeah, my headset keep falling. I don't like it. That's why I want a mic to be standing, cause like my neck is hurting as well because I'm trying to hold it in place. I don't know why my head is like not holding the mic very well. And yeah, this is just super weird because like commando. Because when I run it, then it's okay. So I need to have the command for some reason, and it's not doing so. Customizing the build. Invoked by the hmm. Oh, maybe because like I'm using the user there, so maybe I should okay, upgrade, not user. Yeah, right. Okay. Oops. Right. No. So, okay, let's run this again, and yeah. So okay, so now it's done. So let's have a look. So we should have a build there. So okay, so you see that now we have done it. So the problem is that when I upgrade the when I run the upgrade command, I have the user flag there, which is not compatible with my setup here. I'm not using the users because I'm in a virtual environment. So yeah, here, so you can see that there's a build there, and this is actually all this craziness has come in there. So if we have a look at the build, yep, so you can see that we have a new build here. Let's build with my Mac OS X. Okay, so this is the wheel has built something there. Okay, so what I gotta do now actually is um, to upload it. So let's see. Yeah, so you should be able to see that in. Oh no, actually in this. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, so that's. Oops. Why? Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't sleep a lot because I have to wake up early for the PyCon Africa thing. Yeah, so this is in this. So this is, oops, sorry. Maybe let me do it again. Okay. So, right. So this is the packaged thing that we got to upload. This is the one that we want to upload to PyPI. Okay. So we have so this is a zip file. So it's just the whole thing zip. This is the wheel file that we've just built. So these are the ones that we want it to be on PyPI. So so how to update it? We can use twine, and here I gotta just remove the user here again because this is what tripped me up before. And oops, maybe I delete too much. Yeah, I delete too much. Sorry. Right, so it's updating twine for me and okay, so and then I gotta upload to test PyPI. Okay, so I do have an account on test PyPI, I think, so hopefully it will work. If not, then I would have to create an account. So yeah, so now twine is updated. So I'll just clear this mess up. Right, so so this is the command. So what it does is that well, Python 3-m is just like running a Python library called twine. Upload the repository, so upload to test PyPI and all the things inside this. Okay, that's two file that we was looking at before. Okay, so let's try that. Yep, so I need my username. So I think it's the same as my GitHub username and my password. So it's uploading now. Yay, we have done it. We have now uploaded our Terminus DB client 0.2.2 on it. And actually this is the dev branch. So it is not stable that I'm uploading, but it's on test PyPI, that's okay. When you pip install, you won't be installing this. It's only for people who install it specifically from PyPI. So how to install that? Okay, so actually there's a command. So I'm not going to install it. Yeah. Oh, actually, okay, I would install it for you, just for you. And what I gotta do is like to create a new pyenv, um, and just like test py pi. Okay. Right. Right. Oh. Oh. Okay. Fine. And then I would pyenv activate test pi. Yeah. And okay, so now I have nothing. Yep. So this is a new environment. And what I'm going to do is I got to run this command to, yeah, so let me highlight the command. Right, so it's not done yet. It's not done yet. So, so it's, right, is it on sample? I think it is. So, terminus db client. Yeah. Okay, so again, like this is how you run pip actually. Yeah, another way to run pip is to run it. Just tell your Python to run this pip as a module. But the thing is that the thing is like this is a safer way to do it. It's just like call the Python that you're using to install it. So it's safer. But sometimes I'm lazy. I just type pip. So in storage, so the index is using the test PyPI instead of the default, which is dpypi. And then no dependencies. Well, I can actually remove that and install the dependencies. Oh, but yeah, sorry, I was deleting. Yeah, I can actually remove it and install the dependency. But the problem is, remember I was depending on request, right? And request may not be available on this test PyPI. It's available on the PyPI, but maybe not the test PyPI. So I'm not installing the dependencies for the moment. I'm just gonna test whether it's uploaded correctly. Okay, so I'm gonna download it, and yes, it seems that it's already in there. Oh, because okay, I know why. Oh, sorry. Like dissatisfying, but why? I don't have it though. Hmm. That's super weird. Where does it install? Now I'm concerned. Where does it install? Right, so what I gotta do is that I gotta remove this Python 3-m thing. I'm just gonna pip because I'm using the virtual environment, so it should install in my virtual environment if I run pip. Okay, so yeah, so now it's installed. Pip list. Yeah, now it's there, and what I gotta do is like Python, and I gotta import terminus. Oh, yeah, so it said that I can't import it because we have no request, which because we didn't install the dependencies, so that's why. But we do have it because when we do pip list, it's there. Okay, so it's there. Right. So yeah, I think that's it for today. It's been almost an hour, and so the last thing that I'm gonna show you before we go is that let me go back to here. Right. So last thing I'm going to show you is to how to deploy using Travis. I'm going to show you our Travis.yaml. I'm just going to show you briefly how you can set it up with Travis. Okay. So and ooh, it's a bit crazy again. Let me remove this terminal thingy and then go back to my yeah. Right. So where is it sitting? So let me put that out and dot Travis, where are you hiding? Yeah, that's why like I like command line. I don't have to like look at stuff and click on it. I'm bad at it. So yeah, because my eyesight is not good. For people who doesn't know me. So this is my our Travis.yaml, and well, we run all the tests on Python 3.6 to 3.8. This is the version that we're supporting at the moment. And we also run coverage on 3.6, that's fine. This just generate a report for us. And this is for the docs, deploying the docs. So it's deployed to the pages, so that's fine. Did we talk about that last time when we talk about documentation? Maybe we don't, so maybe I would quickly cover that. So remember last time we say that HTML will build a doc within the build folder, right? So basically what this is doing is to go to the docs, and run the make HTML, and then now we have the build. You know, the HTML is sitting in the build, and yeah, and we have to do like no Jackal thing because it's just like GitHub Pages doesn't like things starting with an underscore, so we have to do things like that, and then we just deploy it there. You just deploy the thing inside HTML into the GitHub Pages. Yeah, for this code, actually, you can go to our repo and it's there publicly. So if you want to copy my code or our code, that's fine. Yeah, so this is well, this is how you deploy on PyPI. So this is very, very simple compared to what we just did, okay? Because Travis do all this twine and stuff behind the hood. But the catch is you can't upload it to test PyPI because it would just use the default. So it would just upload to the PyPI, okay? So so yeah, you have to have a token there. Well, like yeah, you have to generate a token, a PyPI token. So I think on GitHub there are some tutorials teaching you how to do that, or on Travis there are some tutorial teach you how to do that. I would actually go to find the link and then put it in the slides afterwards because I forgot to do this. And then you need to like put your token here. We put it in an environment variable because this, like I said, this script is seen by the public, is on GitHub, so we have to hide it. So we put it in an environment variable that you can set up in Travis. So you put your token there, and then so this is just saying that I only deploy to PyPI when I have a tag. So every time when I'm ready to release my stuff, I would actually do a tag. So do a Git tag. For how to do Git tag, again, I will find a tutorial and put the link in the slides. Yeah, there's so much detail that sometimes I forgot. So tag it, and then I would, and then I've pushed the tag, and then once my GitHub repo is, get the new tag and it's triggered this Travis build, and it would check that, oh yeah, it got the tag. Okay, I have to deploy to PyPI, and then it would grab the token from the environment variable and do the things, for me. So Travis would do this for me. So yes, skip existing, because like if I've already done it, don't do it, because PyPI won't accept uploading the same version twice. Yeah, so basically that's it. And let me go back to the slides. Uh, yeah, so that's the end. And for next week, I am planning to maybe do some type hinting, because like I actually like I'm developing something for for the like actually I could show you. I don't know why I'm really stuck. Okay, so I'm using some type hinting. I can show you a little bit of example here. I'm doing some type hinting when I'm writing some new development for our client here. So here you can see that I have all this stuff that oh, it's a string, or it will become a string. So all these are type hinting. So I'm also new to it, to be honest, but I would try to learn more, and we'll learn together actually next week. So we will talk about type hinting, and actually it's very useful when you have like something as big and massive and messy as as our library. Then actually it helps, especially when you have multiple people collaborating together, and people look at the code and know what's going on. Like sometimes I look at some code that is some old code, I have to ask my colleague, or what is it accepting, what is it returning, like I'm not sure. So type hinting would really be helpful. So we gotta do that next week. And yeah, I think everything is great. And I would you can find all my slides in my slides.com account. Is my account name is also checking underscore ho. um and I would upload all the links there as well, so you can try it yourself. And I think that's it from me, and I will see you next week. I'm going back to PyCon Africa workshop now, so yeah. Bye.